Deion Sanders was in the news last week. Obviously, we didn't even mention this, but with the retiring of jerseys, but then also in the news a little bit, calling out Virginia for tampering, getting all over an ACC team's case for reaching out and trying to tamper with their players. I've got some thoughts on this, but I do want to hear you out first. What's your initial reaction to that?
This was really cool, actually. I love the way which Deion Sanders did it. Video cameras in the room. He asks a player, he's like, hey, somebody tried to tamper with that kid right there. Carter got offered a bag. He said, where Carter at? What's the school? What's the school that offered you the bag? And Carter Stoutmire is like, Virginia. And Deion's like, yeah, we said the name of the school. Now what? We're coming for you. Somebody in the back of the video said, we're coming for you. And it was awesome that Sanders looked directly to a camera and said, Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one. I ain't saying nothing about it. Come on now. Come on. We let you have one. I ain't saying nothing about it. Crazy. He's not filing a report with the NCAA. He's not coming after the university. He's doing something even crazier, utilizing his platform to say, Virginia, which is a terrible football school, by the way, in a dying football conference. What are you doing in my backyard trying to bring my players to your university? Stop. This is your first and final warning. We see coaches say really good coach speaky, stupid stuff at a podium like, oh, there are players that are being targeted on our very roster right now, and they keep it very official, and they don't try to get in any trouble. Deion said, where are the cameras? Virginia wants him. They're tampering. I'm not going to report it. I'm just going to tell the world because I have the biggest platform in college football right now. It's very neat to me the way in which it's very Deion, the way in which Deion handled this business. But he always handles his business in an eccentric way. And I think it's good. It's good for schools to be called out when they're breaking the rules because, TJ, we know how the NCAA operates. They're not going to do anything. If you report Virginia for tampering, it'll be 2028. All the coaches and players will be gone before the NCAA even looks at it. So Deion is just, he's taking care of his own business here. He's making sure that he gets stuff done when the NCAA probably wouldn't. I'm for this. I'm pro calling out Virginia for tampering. Where do you lie?
Yeah, I'm pro Deion calling it out. I like that a lot because we do hear, Matt Rule talking, we're canceling the spring game because this, coach has, we're worried about tampering or worried about this happening, that happening, which I think is stupid, right? I think it's dumb. The whole canceling of spring games because of tampering is absolutely idiotic. But I like the way that this is called out. Now, I will say this. Coach Prime calls out UVA. Let's be very honest. There are 134 schools that are attempting to, or representatives for those schools, or agents for kids, whatever it is. This is happening at every school in the country. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But instead of just sweeping it under the rug and saying like, yeah, some of our guys are getting called, actually put your money where your mouth is. Say like, yeah, this is who called him out. And I like that. I don't see why you wouldn't like it. Now, the haters or the doubters may say, well, you're telling me that Colorado hasn't made any calls to kids that were committed elsewhere or transfers that hadn't jumped in just yet or whatever. Yes, you're probably right. I would imagine that Colorado is not the only program out of 134 in this country that is not doing that. But if you're going to do it, to especially Coach Prime's program, you better be ready for the blowback and you better be ready for being called out on it. And so I have no doubt. Listen, there's a Florida State football sitting over my left shoulder right now. I have a Florida State baseball shirt on. I like Florida State. Florida State is both being tampered with and tampering right now. It is happening everywhere in college football. But you want to know how you get it to stop? You start directly calling out the players that are being tampered with or the schools that are tampering with certain players. I also think it shows a heck of a lot of trust in the players, and Coach Prime trust each other so much to be open about these things, right? Not just, hey, fielding these calls on the side, seeing what your side chick might be up to over here on the side with UVA or whatever, to literally go to your coach and say, hey, this is what's happening to me. I'm letting you know right now because my loyalty is with you. My loyalty is not with anybody else. I'm coming to tell you so that you're aware of it. You know what's happening with your program, with your roster. It's the same thing as if one of my kids comes to me and says, hey, Dad, my teacher told me to do this and it was wrong, or my friend at school told me to do this and it was wrong. And so I'm telling you to keep my name clear, to keep myself out of trouble. And so I think it shows both things, right? Coach Prime, not afraid to call people out for doing wrong, also has a trust, because you can guarantee a lot of these kids across the country that are getting tampered with, they go in the portal with a do not contact tag. The fact that even exists is asinine. But they go into the portal with a do not contact tag on because they know where they're going because they've been tampered with. Coach Prime willing to call that out, but also these kids that are getting tampered with all across the country, do you think they're going and telling their coach? Do you think they're going and, I mean, I'm not saying none do, but I mean, I probably wouldn't, right? I'm going to hear them out. Hey, you're going to give me more money to come play at your school? Yeah, I'm for it. Everybody across the country is doing this. Only one is calling out by name who's getting it done.
It is neat to know that a kid would turn down money. That's probably this likely wasn't an empty offer from Virginia. It's not, hey, what interest do you have in possibly coming and playing here? There was, by all accounts, when a player is reached out to, a price tag is typically there with the message. Otherwise, there is no reason to respond. There is no reason to get into this whole tampering scheme and possibly lose your own eligibility if there isn't a $3 or $4 million payday at the very end of it. The saddest part of the whole deal is that it's Virginia. I mean, kick them while they're down, right? This isn't an Alabama, an LSU, a Florida State, who we know are probably, as you mentioned, tampering or being tampered with. I mean, they have their secret avenues to call the kid's high school strength coach, and that coach will call the kid's dad, and from there, those cats can broker a deal with a third party or a donor at a university. But this isn't a big school. This is Virginia. Virginia's like, hey, man, we're looking for anybody that'll play here. We're just trying to make a call. Could you just leave us alone for a second? And I can't imagine for that football program that has been so bad, just how much more disheveled it looks after a situation like this. You're right, though. It's happening all across college football. I think if it was in Alabama, an LSU, a Florida State, Deion would still call them out in the exact same way. And you know, TJ, as you were saying it, I was thinking, man, I want to push back a bit on the Colorado tampering, conversation. But the reason I wouldn't is because Deion, it doesn't have to have anything to do with it. Like there are now NIL sites. I can go on Google and just look up, NIL website. And genuinely, I could Google that right now, and I could look up Sawyer Robertson from Baylor University and pay him $1 million out of my pocket in NIL and it not be tampering. I could DM today. I could DM Caden Salter, the quarterback for Colorado, and say, Caden, I personally will pay you $2 million to play at Arkansas State next season. That's not tampering. I don't work for Arkansas State. That NIL money is not funneled directly through Arkansas State. They had nothing to do with this. So surely there are Colorado donors doing that right now. They're DMing college athletes, college football players saying, hey, would you come play at Colorado if I was, if I ponied up the money? And that donor probably has a relationship with the director of ops. And that director of ops probably hinted at the fact that he really liked that defensive lineman from Wisconsin. So there are ways to put two and two together. But I don't know if any of these universities have intricate, detailed, Watergate-esque tampering organizations underneath the table. They don't have to, though. All They have to have is this public bag man giving out NIL money, and every university has those.
Yeah, and also we give the universities a hard time, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Virginia's culpability in this. I mean, some of these agents are incredibly dirty, too. And because there's no rules, like LeBron James's agent cannot reach out to 7 other franchises and say, what will you pay LeBron to come there? 1, he's under contract, right? You'd have to request a trade or his contract would have to be up. 2, there are literally anti-tampering rules in effect. And 3, there are contract requirements to where when LeBron's contract is up, I believe next year, the Lakers can pay him more than any other franchise in the country, right? Like in the league. And that's the same in the MLB, MLB, I'm not sure. NFL, NHL, and NBA. If you stay with the team, they can offer you a higher supermax than the team you would go to. It's a provision, it's a clause in the CBA to keep guys from jumping over and over and over and over around like they have in college football. Since there's no guardrails in college football, if I'm an agent, right, and I'm repping Shador and Travis, well, those aren't good examples because they were never going to leave. But if I'm repping 2 or 3 of the best players in college football, is it not my due diligence to reach out to other collectives, other strength coaches, other whomever, and say, hey, would you like an Arch Manning?
Yeah.
Right? Would you like an Abdul Carter? I know he's in the NFL now. But would you like those players? What would it cost to get an Arch Manning on your roster? What would it cost to get a DJ Lagway on your roster? And 120 schools are going to say we could never afford it, right? We have no interest. We have a quarterback, or we have no interest. We don't have that kind of budget, whatever. But if somebody replies to me and says, oh, we'll double DJ's salary, am I being a bad agent? Now, is it ethical? I don't know, right? But am I a good agent if I don't take that back to my client and say, hey, Texas A&M said they double your salary? Like, do you want to hear them out? And so we give these programs such a hard time. A lot of these agents are dirty too. Don't just 100%. It is an absolute chaotic world. And I'm not trying to take culpability away from UVA here, because I don't know that was the situation. But a lot of these agents that are repping these kids are in it for themselves. They get paid when the kids transfer because they make more money. So they want it to happen. And in this wild, wild west of college football that we have right now, that is happening a ton.
Yeah, you have some agents charging 20% agent fees. So when a kid signs a $5 million deal, that's a good payday for the agent. So yeah, the more we blame kids, the worse this thing gets, because they're not the ones at the forefront of it.